Okay, I am alive. Hey everybody, it's me, Lauren, filmmaker extraordinaire, sitting on my floor, woot woot. But girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do. The computer though is actually propped up on like a little ottoman thing, so I feel really accomplished about that. I wish I had something like in the wall behind me, like a neon sign or something, but I don't, so just bear with me. I'm feeling like relatively energetic right now, even though it's like 6 p.m. and I usually don't feel energetic at 6 p.m. because I had like a half day at work because tomorrow's Thanksgiving and I took a lovely nap. Great times. So I'm feeling like fresh, feeling good. And I thought I wasn't gonna stream today because I was like dead earlier in the week, but I was like, you know what? I have some energy. Let's chat. And with tomorrow being Thanksgiving and like being thankful and grateful. I figured that would be something good to talk about. I've definitely spoken about gratitude before, but I feel like you can never talk about gratitude like too much, really, because it's very important. And I definitely have struggled with being grateful sometimes. So I think first I'm just going to talk about like why it's like people make it seem like it's supposed to be so easy to be grateful for stuff. But when you're, like, feeling like your life sucks, it's like, "Well, what am I really grateful for?" And then they're like, "Oh, well, be grateful that you had a meal today, or you have a roof over your head, or you have clothing to wear." And those are all very valid things to be grateful for. But I think it can be really hard to actually feel that way. And I know that I have definitely struggled with feeling that way when I've been in, like, a depressive episode or just, like, a general mental rut. Because it's like, well, and this might come across very first world, which I do apologize for that. I just can only speak from my own experience. But in some ways, it feels like that is supposed to be like the bare minimum of life to like, and everyone should have food, a home, clothing. So when it's like, is the only thing I can be grateful for the bare minimum? I mean, for me, that can be very tough to really actually feel genuinely grateful for. And that's a problem, I know. It's something I am trying to work on, something I talk about in my with my therapist, like but, like, when I personally I should say I, not you, I don't know your situation, but I know that I often just want to feel happy and content, satisfied with life, and, like, that's what I'm seeking. So when I can't find that, I'm like, "Well, this is bad, and this is not how life's supposed to go." And, like, I'll see other people, and I know that like, social media is a lie. It's not all fake, but lots of it is fake. But it's like, why can't I have, like, the happy life that someone else is having? Like, what did I do to not get that life? And, like, you try to be a good person, or at least I try to be a good person, and it's like, well, I'm still not getting what I'm trying to achieve here. So, like, why should I be grateful for, like, nothing, basically? And then you have to remind yourself, well, it's not nothing. But it can feel like nothing. Like, I'm in a pretty good mood now because I have a long weekend ahead of me. As I said, I took a nap, but, like, earlier in the like, last week, like, on Saturday, I was, like, really not doing well. I felt very lonely, very isolated, and I was like, "Well, I have a great job. I have a great apartment. I have a good roommate. Like, I have these things, but, like, I don't feel happy about it. I don't feel good about it. It's not bringing me anything that I feel like it's supposed to. And I think the big issue, like what I consider to be the big issue, is something that I struggle with, and that is like we have these expectations for what like could be, would like is supposed to be. So if you see me flailing around, I'm just holding a pin. I'm just fidgety. And then when you don't have that, it's like you're doing something wrong. And it's this constant striving to be at a certain level, right? And it's like because you're always trying to get to a different point, you can never just like stop, look at like the view you're at, the vista you're seeing, and be like, wow, amazing. This is so cool. Like, no, no, no. It's like this constant hustle and pressure to keep going and get something else because we're like taught not to be satisfied with what we have because of hustle culture and like the productivity mindset. And even like gratitude is something that people use to be like more productive and like be like that girl or have that like that vibe aesthetic where it has become something else that is a commodity. And gratitude, I don't think should be a commodity. I think it should be a feeling, an action maybe, if you're being grateful to something or like of something, I don't know. But to imply that like you should be grateful, like like, do a great gratitude exercise every day and it will help you achieve like peace and this and that. It becomes another task, yet another thing we have to do to appear a certain way. And we've like lost the point of gratitude in the first place because we're just trying to have the appearance of being grateful so that we accomplish something else on our little checklist or bucket list, whatever it is we're trying to do. And to me, that's like just the opposite of the point of gratitude. And I'm not like a pro at being grateful by any means. As I already said, I really struggle sometimes when I feel like I just like, why should I be grateful? As I said, bare minimum. And then people are like, well, you don't have the bare minimum. And it's all relative, I know. But when like your friends are all hanging out doing something across the country from you, it can feel pretty sucky. And it's like, well, this is nice. I have friends. That's I'm grateful for that. But we can't do anything together. Or when you're trying to schedule something and your schedule is like this and your friend's schedule's like that and your other friend's schedule's like that, and there's literally no time where you all three have a free space for like 4 months. It's like, well, how am I supposed to be grateful for that? Like, yeah, we all have jobs, so that's why we're busy. That's good. That's a good thing. But it's like impeding the rest of the joy of my life. So how am I supposed to just be happy for us? Like, what? And it's just annoying. I think that people think it's so easy to be grateful, and I honestly wonder the people who talk about being grateful and the gratitude journal thing, which I have done before. I think it's semi helpful. Like, if you do it authentically, like if you every day you wake up and you're like, I have to come up with something to be grateful for, I don't really think that's the point. But if you like are really feeling grateful for something, like journaling, I think is always a great idea to be able to write stuff down and just like connect with yourself and your thoughts. Always good. What did someone say? At least the internet exists to bridge divides. Yeah, that's definitely true. And that's helpful with like friendships, relationships, with having the internet. Um, but sometimes even with like time zone differences, it doesn't work out. It's like I'm in the Pacific time. Most of my family is in Eastern time. A couple are in Central time. And now I'm dating somebody who lives in England. So that's peachy. Like, um, the time zone difference is really tough. And it's like great for the internet, like, oh my God, amazing news. But like I'm definitely salty about it still. And it just is what it is. But like it is what it is does not equate to I'm grateful for what is. Like it just doesn't work that way, at least in my book. And maybe like that's my problem. It probably is. But I just think it's annoying. And like when I think about what I'm really grateful for, it's like the people in my life. And I want to try to spend time with them, but then I can't spend the time with them. And it's of my own doing. Like I chose to move across the country. Um, but like still it can be annoying. And it's like I know actions have consequences and I'm living my consequences. Like I moved I'm now working in the entertainment industry. I'm accomplishing that dream. I'm living well, not on my own. I have a roommate, but like independently. I have a car. I like do all that stuff. I have a retirement plan. Like, boo rah, baby. But like, I'm lonely sometimes, and that's just like whatever. But it's not whatever. But like, I have to say it's whatever because it doesn't like. What am I supposed to do about it? How does that work out? Dating someone a continent, an ocean away? Well, it's a pretty recent thing, so I can't really speak to it very much yet. And I don't know if like my boyfriend wants me to talk about that too much. And as I said, it's super recent, so I really can't say. I just kind of threw it out there because I'm rambling. But we're just, it's the same as my basically my family, like video chatting, texting, looking forward to a bit in-person visit. It's the same deal. And yeah, I really got all my soapbox there talking about my gratitude rant. But I don't know. I know it's just tough because like my family for Thanksgiving year always like goes in a little circle and says like I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that. And I often like I've cried before at my Thanksgivings with my family, especially like my freshman year of college when I was having, like, a tough time, like, adjusting to college at first, I, like, cried. I was like, "I'm just thankful to be here with my family, blah, blah, blah." And everyone thought it was sweet and sentimental, and maybe it was sweet and sentimental, but, like, crying is not an embarrassing thing. It's not at all. I cry all the time, but, like, I don't want to cry in front of, like, my whole family, you know what I mean? So, like, my gratitude was very genuine in that moment. It was, like, a little too genuine, and then I felt, like, uncomfortable and embarrassed by it because no one else cried when they said what they were thankful for, just me, and I was like, "Oops." But, like, tomorrow, I'm doing a Friendsgiving because my family's in New Jersey and I'm in California, and I don't even know if we're gonna go around in a circle and say we're thankful for because it's a different like, everyone has their own traditions. So that'll be interesting. Hey, Mark. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just talking about the struggles of being grateful and expressing it. Um, so I'm just not sure what like the vibe is gonna be like. And like a lot of I love most of my friends. I like all of my friends, most of the time. Um, but everyone comes from like different backgrounds and different ideas of what like gratitude is and what people are like what is expected. And what I consider to be like the bare minimum, some people think should be like some people seem to think things should just be, like, handed to them on, like, a silver platter, and that is, like, the opposite to me of gratitude or, like, the idea of gratitude because just because I feel like everyone like, what I consider to be the bare minimum in the sense I think everyone should be able to have food, a home, clothes, if the job hopefully, if they want the job, like, be able to find that. But that doesn't mean, like, you're entitled to a great job. You're entitled to the best house. You're entitled to the best food, like, you have to have I think everyone should have things and then you have to like work for it. And then you can be grateful that you've been like recognized at work or that I don't know. What's this say? Bummer you were unable to meet up with your family. Yeah, I mean, that is tough because I wanted to meet up with my family for Thanksgiving, but basically they were like the travel sucks at this time. We don't recommend you come home for Thanksgiving. And I was like, well, that's sad because I would have loved to come home for Thanksgiving. And at my old job, I only had Thanksgiving off, so it would have been really tough. But my current job, I had Friday off as well. And then I ended up having like a half day today, but I didn't know that I was gonna have a half day today and whatever. It's like too late now, but it is too bad. Um yeah, it's just like a tough deal, I would say. But I mean, I am very thankful that at least, like, I can talk to my family all the time, and that's, like, a genuine thing. Like, I could literally call my parents pretty much every single day, and I try to talk to my siblings, like, once a week, schedule work out, but I literally, like, always call my parents when I drive home from work, and if I'm working sometimes I call them multiple times a day. Like, today I called them twice because I forgot to say something on the first call, and I had to be like, "Hey, it's Lauren again. Guess what?" Um but that's something that, like, I'm really grateful that I have this relationship with my parents, but I, like, feel like I worked for my relationship with my parents. Oh, hey, mom. Yeah, we'll have to try for next Thanksgiving. Um, like, I wasn't, it's funny that you're watching right now, but I was just gonna say, I feel like, I didn't just, like, wake up as, like, a baby and have the best relationship with my parents ever and always want to call them on the phone and have them always pick up. Like, you kinda, like, ebb and flow, and now we're at a point where I feel really good about that kinda thing. But, there's definitely, like, a period where I was like, "Ew, I'm not calling my parents every day." LOL from past me in that sense. But, yeah, your 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 parents suck. I think it's funny you said your parents suck because you're obviously my parent, and you don't suck. You're the best, even if you didn't want me to come home for Thanksgiving. But I'm still, like, grateful for my family relationships, and, even when I'm feeling, like, sad. Like, also over the weekend, I cried calling both sets of my grandparents, and neither of them picked up the phone, and I was like, "Well, this blows." And then I felt, like, even worse, and it's hard to feel, like, grateful for what you do have when, like, you can't express those things or People have other lives other than you, and sometimes I don't know how many times other people feel this way, but I can get really sucked into, like, my own main character energy, where it's like, well, me, myself, and I, and, I'm like, "How come they don't pick up the phone for me? Hey, thanks for tuning in." When it's much more complicated than that, but it can feel like no one else appreciates you. And then it's like, well, if they don't appreciate me, like, why should I appreciate me? And then it's like a whole spiraling chain of catastrophe, which is just over dramatic. But like, it's just not that easy to be like consistently grateful for life, I think. Like, I'm so happy that I am alive, for sure. Lots of great things. But it's so easy to get caught up in what's not so great, and, like, right now, I literally, like, feel like my nap turned my whole day around. Like, I had a good day, but I was tired. Had a stressful week, and it's literally only Wednesday. But, like, when you have a good nap, amazing. But, like, I don't usually get to nap in the middle of the day on a Wednesday because 'cause I'm usually at work. So I'm, like, grateful for this, like, special opportunity, but, like, I just don't usually have that. So it's like you can see what makes, like, your whole day better, and you can see these things. You can, like, know these things, but that doesn't mean you can replicate it when you want to, and then it almost becomes, like, another thing where it's like, woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't, and even if it's out of your control. I think so much of life is, like, out of your control, and as someone who likes to control things, it can be hard to feel grateful when, like, you feel when I it's hard for me to feel grateful when, like, I want something to happen a certain way and it doesn't work out that way, and I did my best, and that's all you can do, right? All you can do is your best, but sometimes these situations still go awry, and then it's like, well, now what am I supposed to do? Because I did everything I was supposed to, and this was supposed to result in a positive thing, and I was supposed to be happy, but I'm not happy, or I'm not as happy as I could have been. It's like, why should I be grateful for my current state when it's not what I wanted? And maybe that's just really, like, petty and, like, way too annoying to say, like, life isn't going how I want, I'm not gonna be grateful for any of it." But it's very easy to, like, get into that kind of a pickle, like, where you just wanna, like, I just wanna, like, sit on my bed and, like, mope, like, wrapped up in a blanket because things aren't going the way I wanted them to, and it's like, well, why should I be grateful for what? Like, the fact that the only thing I wanna eat right now is ice cream? Like, that's what I'm supposed to be grateful for? Like, no. So I think it can be a little delusional for people to expect you to be able to be grateful for, like, everything all the time. We do our best. I think life is hard for most people at least some of the time, so it's gonna be hard to feel grateful when things are tough. Yeah, I'm sure life is hard for, like, everybody at some point or another, but when it's me in my head, sometimes it feels like life is tough all the time, and I don't know why. I really don't, and I'm, like, feeling optimistic now because, like, if you've been watching some of my other videos, I've been, like, on some different medications and, like, we're doing some med swaps, and that's been really tough for me, but I'm hopefully going on a new medication soon, and that, like, it feels like now that I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, like, it's coming up, I'm meeting with my psychiatrist so soon that I'm feeling, like, very positive about it. But I was not like, I was literally, like, bawling my eyes out the other day about how my meds were, like, not working, and that's why I'm, like, off some of them. My anxiety's gotten worse again. And for a long time, I was really grateful to be on certain medications because it was really changing my life, making it a lot better. So then for those meds to, like, stop working or not work as well anymore due to, like, various life changes, it can feel like a sucker punch. It's like they lured you in. You're, like, feeling really good. You think everything's working. You're really happy with how it's going. And then they're like, "Ha ha, we tricked you. Now it doesn't work anymore. Take that, you loser." And it's like, okay, well, now I'm back to square one or zero. And, like, how am I supposed to be grateful for that? Like, now I have to try a whole new medication, deal with a whole new range of side effects, hope that that works out. Also, that I can it be like a balanced, like, mentally, like, a brain chemistry can be like a normal person. When I wish it's hard to be grateful for that when I wish that my brain chemistry was just, like, normal by itself. That's what I would feel like I'd be grateful for. And there's levels to it, obviously, like, I probably wouldn't really be that grateful if I didn't have to take medication, if I never had to take medication because I just wouldn't have much experience with it. It wouldn't really like mean anything to me versus having been on different medications when meds actually work. I really appreciate it because I've been on some meds that really like screwed me over, even ones that I was only on for a couple weeks. So, looking on the bright side there. Speaking of the bright side, I think it's interesting because people like stay positive, look on the bright side. And I think it's easier to look on the bright side than being grateful because you can be like, oh, there's a silver lining. But sometimes the silver lining is not enough to be thankful for. For instance, I get chronic migraines. I saw like a new neurologist and she was like, have you ever like I take monthly shots, but something I also could have done potentially that she said like if like the shots weren't working, she does some people give them like Botox. And one of my friends was like, well, Botox is fun. I was like, yeah, I guess you could say it's a silver lining if you get Botox done. But I get chronic migraines. Like I'm failed to see how that's a real win here because overall it's still a pretty big L. Like it's like barely a perk because it's a nuisance. Like it's a life like hindering thing that I experience. So to like is the am I supposed to be grateful for like a bonus side effect of that? Like I'd rather just not have the chronic migraines at all, if you follow me. It just gets like a little complicated, I think. And I don't know. It just feels like I see like I was on Facebook. I don't on Facebook that much anymore, but I was on Facebook like going through and some of my like older relatives were being like so thankful, so blessed, so grateful. And I know they like mean super well. And like my grandfather said I was blessed with my new job and my new relationship and being happy. And I do feel blessed some of the time, but like a lot of the time I really don't feel blessed. I feel like I'm trudging through the mud on a big mountain like a hobbit with tiny feet. Well, hobbits have big feet, but like I feel like I'm just like barely getting there sometimes. And for someone to be like, "Oh, you're blessed." And then I feel bad because I'm like, I probably am blessed and I should be feeling better about these things. I should be feeling more grateful. I should be feeling more thankful. I should be expressing these things to people more. But it just like isn't working, I guess, on me. Um it's just weird. It's just not a good time. It's weird. I don't really like the saying what you're thankful for on Thanksgiving. Maybe not sure why it just feels like superficial sometimes. Maybe that's negative. No, it does sometimes feel superficial. Like, as I was saying, like, last like, few years ago, I literally cried saying what I was thankful for, and it felt like the most genuine I've ever been, and I'm like, "I'm thankful for" because, like, everyone says the same thing. Everyone says, "I'm thankful for family, I'm thankful for being together, I'm thankful for my new job." And it's like, these are all totally valid things to be thankful for. So, so true, like, so true, bestie, like, you should be thankful for your job. But, like, going around in, like, a circle, and then, like, if someone takes what you were gonna say, like, you either feel weird repeating it, like, I'm also thankful for my family, and then it feels like you had an unoriginal thought. So you have to come up with something new, rapid fire speed, unless you're, like, the last to go, in which case you have plenty of time, but also plenty of chances for what you're thankful for to be taken before you speak. I don't know, it's just, like, I wish that it was more something, like, that came up naturally in, like, conversation. I or maybe just to me because I love my family, like, it feels obvious that we're all thankful to be together on Thanksgiving or whenever we're together. But, like, saying it out loud, I don't know. It's just, like, a weird thing to do, but, like, it's also a tradition, so I respect it in that sense, and I do like traditions for the most part, but it is sort of superficial. And that, like, comes back to what I was talking about, like, way earlier in the stream when I was thinking about how, like like the gratitude journal idea, or like every day saying what you're grateful for, and like the posterity of gratitude, because it's like this idea that like you're reflecting on it and it sounds so good. Like people are like, oh, my journal, I wrote, I am thankful for this today. And you feel good about yourself. You're like, wow, I'm thankful. I was thankful. But are you really being thankful and expressing gratitude if you're just doing it to like check off a little box? And I agree that it can help with like habit building and maybe getting your just to think like, wow, I just like poked myself in the eyebrow, to be like a more grateful person, I guess. Um, but I feel like it should only happen when you're really feeling it. Like I use this app called Finch for like motivating myself to do things sometimes, like cleaning my bed sheets or like taking out the trash. And one of the things is like an affirmation of gratitude. And you're supposed to do that every day. I do not do it every day. I only do it if I'm really feeling grateful for something. Because I don't want to fill it out just like basically on the side you get energy points. And once you hit a set of points, your little bird can go explore someplace. But I'm not gonna fill out like a thing I'm not really grateful for just to get the energy points so that I can pretend that my fictional bird character is exploring a fictional place, but so that I feel good about it. Like it needs to be like I'm actually feeling grateful for something. And like maybe again that's a me problem or like whatever. And I know the app is definitely designed, like I love the app overall, but gamification of gratefulness. It literally is the gamification of gratefulness. It's the gamification of like your whole life. Like it'd be like brush your teeth in the morning, get out of bed. But like sometimes, when you're in a rut, you just need that little perk. You need the little bing sound. You need to feel like you did something. And you could lie. Like I could be still in my bed and be like, got out of bed. I haven't hit that point yet. I will get out of bed. I might sit on the floor. I might barely get out of bed, but I'm getting out of bed so I can hit my little got out of bed checkbox. But I do really think that like everything is getting like gamified, like commodity. There's like a commodity to everything. Amazing. You can't buy gratefulness yet or sell it. You still gotta like pretend that you gotta pretend. It's still like a real, like an intangible feeling. But it's just complicated. The whole thing is complicated. And I don't really have like a end goal with this rant. It was more just be like tomorrow's Thanksgiving and people are gonna say, like ask what you're grateful for. And I think it's okay if you are saying like I don't really feel grateful for anything right now. Because as I said way earlier, you shouldn't have to be grateful for like basic like humane necessities, I don't think. It should be like special moments that happen. And if you're not feeling those, saying that you're feeling grateful is not going to accomplish anything. And I guess that's it. Thank you all for tuning in and for the comments and everything. I would talk longer because it's only been like half an hour, but I forgot to get water and my throat is really failing me. So I'm going to call it. Hopefully, everyone has a safe holiday. And if you're not feeling it this year, it's okay. We've all been there. And with that being said, farewell. Thank you. You also take care. Bye.